Beloved soul, what I am about to reveal has been held in the heavens until this very moment. February 25th is not an ordinary date. It is a spiritual turning point. It is the day when hidden things begin to rise to the surface. It is the day when silence breaks. And right now, Archangel Michael is pointing his sword directly at the one who betrayed you. Yes, you heard that correctly. This is not symbolic. This is not random. This is not coincidence. There has been a spiritual courtroom in session concerning your life. Conversations have been happening in the unseen realm about your pain, your confusion, your sleepless nights. The tears you thought nobody noticed were counted. The whispers spoken behind your back were recorded. The betrayal you felt but could not prove was seen clearly in heaven. And now, February 25th marks the exposure. Archangel Michael, the defender of the faithful, the warrior of divine justice, has stepped forward. His sword is not raised in anger without purpose. It is raised in protection over you. It is raised in declaration. It is raised as a signal that truth can no longer remain buried. You have been sensing something, haven't you? That strange feeling in your spirit. A discomfort when a certain name is mentioned. An inner voice telling you something is not right. You tried to ignore it. You tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. You questioned yourself more than you questioned them. But heaven never questioned what happened. The betrayal was subtle. It did not come with shouting. It did not come with obvious hostility. It came wrapped in smiles. It came disguised as loyalty. It came through someone you trusted enough to lower your guard around. That is why it hurt so deeply. And here is the shocking truth. The person who betrayed you is closer than you think. This is not a distant enemy. This is not a stranger. This is someone who had access to your personal world. Someone who knew your fears. Someone who heard your plans. Someone who watched your growth and quietly felt threatened by it. Archangel Michael is not pointing his sword at them to destroy them without warning. He is pointing his sword to expose deception, to cut through lies, to separate truth from manipulation. February 25th is a spiritual deadline. For months, possibly years, this individual has been operating in shadows, speaking words that sound supportive to your face, but sowing doubt behind your back, smiling publicly while privately hoping you would fail. They studied you. They observed you. They calculated how to benefit from your trust. But here is what they did not calculate. They did not calculate divine intervention. They did not calculate that Archangel Michael would step into your situation with authority. They did not calculate that their hidden intentions would begin to unravel at exactly the right time. You may be wondering, how will I know? Pay attention. Revelation often comes in small but undeniable moments. A conversation will slip. A message will be revealed. A contradiction will expose itself. A sudden distancing will happen. Watch how they react when your blessing increases. Watch how they respond when you receive good news. Watch their energy when you succeed. The sword is not only pointed at them. It is also cutting the emotional ties that kept you confused. You were never crazy. You were never overthinking. You were discerning. There is a difference. The reason you felt unsettled is because your spirit was picking up signals your mind could not yet process. Archangel Michael has been standing near you, guarding you from deeper harm. What could have destroyed you was delayed. What could have ruined your reputation was intercepted. What could have stolen your opportunity was blocked. This exposure is not about revenge. It is about protection. And here is where it becomes intense. The identity is being revealed in 15 seconds. not through a dramatic scene, not through a public scandal, but through clarity. A sudden, undeniable clarity that will hit you like lightning. You will connect dots that once seemed unrelated. You will remember conversations that felt off. You will see patterns that were invisible before. And when you see it, you will feel two things at once: relief and shock. Relief because your intuition was right. Shock because you gave them access. But listen carefully. Do not let anger consume you. That is not why this is happening. Archangel Michael's sword is a sword of justice, not chaos. It is a sword of alignment. It removes what no longer belongs in your destiny. February 25th is not just about exposure. It is about repositioning. Once this person's true intentions become clear, doors will shift. Conversations will change. Your circle will tighten. Your discernment will sharpen. And your future will no longer be delayed by hidden sabotage. This is the beginning of a new protection season. The betrayal was real. The pain was real. But so is the divine defense surrounding you right now. Listen closely, because what is unfolding now is deeper than simple betrayal. What you are experiencing is divine separation. There is a difference between someone leaving your life and someone being removed by heaven. February 25th is not just exposing a person. It is exposing a pattern. It is revealing who was draining your strength while pretending to support your vision. Archangel Michael is still standing with his sword extended, but now the energy has shifted. This is no longer only about pointing at the betrayer. This is about building a shield around you. The same sword that exposes deception is the same sword that draws a boundary line. And that boundary is being drawn now. You may begin to notice subtle changes in communication. Their tone may shift. Their availability may decrease. Or strangely, they may try harder than ever to appear loyal. This is not random behavior. When light increases, shadows react. When truth rises, those who benefit from confusion feel pressure. Archangel Michael's presence creates spiritual pressure that forces hidden motives to surface. Do not interfere with this process. Let it unfold naturally. You do not need to confront immediately. You do not need to announce what you know. Silence can be more powerful than accusation. Observation is your weapon right now. Archangel Michael fights battles you cannot see, and sometimes the strongest move is simply to step back and watch truth reveal itself. Here is something crucial you must understand. Betrayal often happens when your destiny begins accelerating. Think about the timing. Recently, have you felt a shift? A new idea forming? A breakthrough approaching? An opportunity aligning? The closer you get to elevation, the more uncomfortable and insecure people become around you. Not because you harmed them, but because your growth exposes their stagnation. The person who betrayed you likely admired you at first. They were inspired by your drive. They enjoyed being associated with your energy. But admiration turned into comparison. Comparison turned into quiet jealousy. And jealousy, if not corrected, turns into subtle sabotage. But heaven saw it before it could fully manifest. That is why February 25th carries weight. This is a cutoff point. The unseen realm is declaring that your next level cannot include hidden opposition. You are entering a season that requires clarity, loyalty, and spiritual alignment. There is no space for double-minded energy around you anymore. And this is where many people make a mistake. They feel hurt and immediately close their hearts to everyone. Do not do that. Archangel Michael is not isolating you. He is refining your circle. There is a difference between solitude and protection. You are not being pushed into loneliness. You are being guided toward higher alignment. Pay attention to who remains consistent. Pay attention to who celebrates you without hesitation. Pay attention to who brings peace instead of tension. Those are the ones heaven is preserving around you. Now I need you to lean in for a moment. If this message is resonating with your spirit, if you can feel that something is shifting around you, then engage with this moment. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs discernment in this season. Comment what you are feeling as you listen. Subscribe and become part of this growing spiritual family. When you interact, you are not just supporting a channel. You are amplifying a message of protection and truth that someone else desperately needs to hear. Because here is what many do not realize. Exposure is not punishment. It is mercy. Imagine if this person remained hidden in your inner circle for years. Imagine if they gained deeper access to your plans, your finances, your relationships, your future moves. The longer deception remains undetected, the greater the damage. So when Archangel Michael steps in early, it is an act of divine compassion. You might still feel emotional waves. That is normal. Even when betrayal is revealed, the heart needs time to process. You are not weak for feeling disappointed. You are human. But do not confuse temporary sadness with permanent loss. What is leaving was never meant to carry you into your next chapter. There is also something else happening behind the scenes. The one who betrayed you is beginning to feel exposed internally. Even before you say a word, they sense a shift. They feel distance. They feel that their access is weakening. That discomfort you once felt is now being mirrored back to them. Justice in the spiritual realm is balanced. And here is the most important part of this revelation. This exposure is unlocking acceleration. Once the wrong presence is removed, speed increases. Delays dissolve. Confusion clears. Decisions become sharper. You will begin to move differently. Think differently. Trust your intuition more boldly. Hold on to this moment, because what is about to unfold next will connect the betrayal to a blessing you did not see coming. Trust me, you will want to witness how this turns in your favor. There is something sacred about this moment, because what felt like a wound is about to reveal itself as protection. The betrayal was not sent to destroy you. It was allowed to expose who could not go where you are going. February 25th is not only about the sword pointing outward. It is about a door opening forward. Archangel Michael does not move without purpose. When his sword is lifted, it signals transition. And this transition is bigger than you realize. The person who betrayed you unknowingly triggered a divine rearrangement. Their hidden intentions forced heaven to accelerate your separation from environments that were limiting you. You thought you were losing someone. In reality, you were being repositioned. Look at the timing carefully. The exposure is happening right before a shift in your personal life. A shift in opportunity. A shift in influence. A shift in responsibility. You are stepping into a higher level of clarity, and clarity cannot coexist with deception. That is why the sword came out now. Archangel Michael's presence around you is intensified because your calling is intensifying. Here is an assignment on your life that requires a purified circle. This is not about ego. This is not about superiority. This is about alignment. Not everyone who begins the journey with you is meant to witness your elevation. And here is where the blessing hides. Once the identity becomes clear in your spirit, you will feel a strange peace. Not anger, not chaos. Peace. That peace is confirmation that the separation is necessary. When heaven removes someone, it also releases space. and that space will soon be filled with something greater. The betrayal created room. Room for loyal connections. Room for divine partnerships. Room for authentic support. There is someone already being positioned to enter your life with genuine intention. Someone who does not secretly compete with you. Someone who celebrates your growth without insecurity. But they could not enter while the old energy remained. February 25th marks the clearing. You may begin noticing synchronicities, unexpected conversations, invitations, new collaborations. Pay attention. These are not random. Archangel Michael not only defends, he guides. His sword clears the battlefield so that new alliances can form without interference. But before that new alignment fully arrives, your heart must release bitterness. This is crucial. If you carry resentment, you block the flow of what is coming. The exposure was meant to free you, not harden you. Forgiveness does not mean reconnection. It means emotional release. You do not need to announce your forgiveness publicly. You do not need to pretend nothing happened. Simply choose not to let their actions define your future. The sword has already cut the tie. You do not need to keep reliving it. There is also something happening in their world. The one who betrayed you is entering a season of reflection. Exposure brings consequences, but not always loud ones. Sometimes the consequence is internal realization. Sometimes it is lost access. Sometimes it is watching you rise without them. It will be enough. You will not need revenge. Your growth will speak. February 25th is a spiritual dividing line. Before this date, you were surrounded by uncertainty. After this date, clarity increases. Before this moment, you question your instincts. After this moment, your discernment strengthens. Before this exposure, you felt emotionally entangled. After this exposure, you feel spiritually grounded. Archangel Michael is not only pointing his sword at betrayal, he is pointing it toward your future, clearing the path ahead. And what stands ahead is expansion. You may not see the full picture yet, but trust that acceleration has already begun. If this message is confirming what your spirit has been sensing, respond in faith. Type "Truth is setting me free" in the comments if this is aligning with your heart. Blessing code 4589 has just been released over your life. And as this truth spreads, understand something powerful. When you engage, when you share, when you stand boldly in this revelation, you are not just reacting to betrayal. You are helping light reach others who are still trapped in confusion. There are souls who are waiting for clarity just like you were. This message is not accidental. It is assignment. Now hear this deeply. The harvest follows the seed. When you sow into a mission that spreads protection, discernment, and divine truth, you are participating in something eternal. The Lord says, as you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not distant scripture. It is a living promise speaking over you now. I am inviting you to act in obedience. If this message stirred your spirit, release a super thanks as a prophetic seed. Step into membership and stand as a pillar in this movement. If your heart leads you, sow through the PayPal link placed in the description. This is not about supporting a channel. It is about fueling a light that exposes darkness and rescues the uncertain. When you give, you are declaring, I stand with truth. I stand with divine alignment. And as you do, may every seed you sow return as protection, clarity, and multiplied favor over your household. Step into this moment with boldness. Activate your obedience now. The next revelation will unveil how the blessing unfolding in your life will surpass the pain that once tried to stop you. There is a shift happening in the atmosphere around you, and it is not subtle anymore. What was once hidden in whispers is now moving into visible reality. February 25th was the spark, but this phase is the unfolding. The exposure was the beginning. The transformation is a continuation. Archangel Michael is no longer only standing with his sword raised. Now he is walking ahead of you. This is what many failed to understand about divine protection. It does not just defend against attack. It escorts you into destiny. When the sword cleared the deception, it created a straight path forward. And now, you are being invited to walk it with confidence. The betrayal tried to plant doubt inside you. It tried to make you question your discernment, and trying to shrink your trust in your own intuition. But what it actually did was sharpen you. You are more aware now, more spiritually sensitive, more observant. What once confused you now stands out clearly. The sharpening was necessary for where you are headed, because what is coming requires maturity. There is an opportunity forming that will test your confidence, not in a negative way, but in a stretching way. It will require you to step forward without constantly looking back. And that is why the exposure had to happen first. You cannot walk boldly into new territory while emotionally tied to hidden betrayal. Archangel Michael's presence signals authority. Authority over fear. Authority over insecurity. Authority over the voice in your head that still asks, "What if I am wrong?" You are not wrong. You are early. You sensed it before you could prove it. And now that proof has surfaced, your spiritual awareness has leveled up. Pay attention to your dreams in this season. Pay attention to sudden ideas. Pay attention to intuitive nudges telling you to call someone, apply for something, or revisit a forgotten vision. These impressions are not random. When protection intensifies, guidance increases as well. There is also something deeply personal happening inside you. You are becoming less tolerant of half-hearted energy. You no longer feel comfortable in spaces where you must shrink yourself. You no longer feel the need to explain your ambition to those who do not understand it. This is growth. Quiet but powerful growth. The betrayal acted as a mirror. It showed you how valuable your trust truly is. It reminded you that access to your life is sacred. Not everyone deserves front row seating to your dreams. That realization alone has elevated your standards. And here is something even more profound. The person who betrayed you may attempt one final move. Not necessarily dramatic. It can be subtle. A message. A compliment. An attempt to reconnect casually. This is not to frighten you. It is to prepare you. When exposure happens, sometimes there is a last effort to regain access before the door closes permanently. Stand firm. You do not need to be hostile. You do not need to be cold. Simply be aware. Archangel Michael's sword has already drawn the boundary line. You are not responsible for making others comfortable with your clarity. Now let us talk about what is emerging on the horizon. There is recognition coming. Not necessarily public fame, but acknowledgement. Someone in a position of influence is about to notice your consistency, your integrity, your quiet resilience. While you were dealing with hidden betrayal, you continued showing up. You continued building. You continued believing. That consistency did not go unseen. Heaven has a way of rewarding faithfulness in silence, and the removal of hidden opposition clears the path for that reward to surface. You may receive unexpected validation, a recommendation, an opportunity that feels bigger than your current environment. Do not shrink when it arrives. This is the moment the sword was clearing space for. But here is the key. Move with humility and discernment. Growth does not require arrogance. Protection does not require paranoia. You are stepping into a season of balanced strength. A strength that is calm, grounded. Turn. You will notice something else changing inside you. The emotional attachment to the betrayal is fading. It no longer controls your thoughts the way it did. The memory exists, but the sting is dissolving. It is healing. Real healing. And it is happening faster than you expected. February 25th marked exposure. This phase marks empowerment. Archangel Michael is not only defending you, he is mentoring you spiritually, teaching you to recognize patterns earlier, teaching you to guard your peace without guilt, teaching you that not every closed door is a loss. Some are rescues. You are not the same person you were before this revelation. And that is a good thing, because the next wave coming toward you carries increase. Increase in clarity, increase in responsibility, increase in influence, and increase requires preparation. What felt like a setback was actually divine strategy. And as you step forward from here, something remarkable will begin to happen. You will start trusting yourself again. Fully. Without second guessing. Without apology. That confidence is the true victory. The next unfolding will reveal how this newfound confidence becomes the key to unlocking a door that has been waiting for you longer than you realize. Something irreversible has just shifted in your spiritual atmosphere. The exposure was not only about identifying the betrayer, it activated a higher level of awareness inside you. And now, that awareness is becoming your advantage. What once hurt you is now strengthening you. What once confused you is now clarifying your direction. Archangel Michael is no longer standing behind you in defense alone. He is beside you, signaling readiness. This is the season where you move differently. Not with fear, but with precision. Not with suspicion, but with discernment. There is a difference between being guarded and being wise. And wisdom is settling into you deeply. You may begin to feel an internal detachment from old patterns. Conversations that once excited you may now feel empty. Environments that once felt normal may now feel draining. This is not you becoming distant. This is you becoming aligned. Exposure changes taste. Once you have seen truth clearly, you cannot pretend not to see it. February 25th was the dividing line. Before that day, you were navigating uncertainty. After that day, you are walking in sharper perception. And sharper perception requires courage. Because once you see clearly, you must act accordingly. There is a door approaching that requires boldness. It may involve stepping into leadership, speaking up where you once stayed silent, or claiming a position you previously doubted you deserve. The betrayal actually prepared you for this moment. It taught you resilience. It taught you emotional control. It taught you not to collapse when disappointed. Archangel Michael's sword did more than expose someone else. It cut away your dependency on external validation. You are no longer waiting for everyone to approve of you. You are no longer shrinking to maintain peace. You are understanding that peace without truth is not real peace at all. There is also something else happening behind the scenes. The one who betrayed you is watching. Not necessarily in an obvious way, but energetically aware of your growth. They expected you to weaken. They expected you to react emotionally. They did not expect you to rise calmly and continue progressing. Your composure is unsettling them, and that is confirmation that you are moving correctly. You are entering a phase where silence becomes your strength. You do not need to announce your plans. You do not need to reveal your next move. There is power in quiet preparation. Archangel Michael often works in silence before major victories. The loudest breakthroughs are usually preceded by the quietest seasons. Pay attention to opportunities that feel slightly intimidating. The ones that stretch you. The ones that make you question if you are fully ready. Growth rarely feels comfortable at first. But remember this. You have already survived betrayal. You have already navigated confusion. You have already endured emotional disappointment and emerged stronger. What could possibly stop you now? The truth is, nothing external has the authority to block you anymore. The only potential obstacle would be self-doubt, and even that is weakening. You are beginning to recognize your own strength. You are starting to see how much you have matured. There is also divine timing at work. A connection that once seemed delayed is about to resurface under different circumstances. A conversation that once stalled is about to move forward with clarity. The removal of hidden opposition has cleared spiritual interference. Things that felt stuck will begin flowing again. Do not rush this process. Acceleration does not mean chaos. It means smooth movement. Watch how doors open naturally. Watch how solutions appear without forced effort. When Archangel Michael clears the path, movement becomes aligned instead of stressful. You are also becoming more selective with your energy. You are realizing that not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every argument deserves your response. Not every opinion deserves your attention. This is emotional maturity at a higher level. And here is something important. Forgive yourself for not seeing the betrayal earlier. You trusted because you have a genuine heart. That is not weakness. That is purity. Do not punish yourself for being authentic. The responsibility for betrayal belongs to the betrayer, not to the one who trusted. As this new chapter unfolds, confidence will settle into you quietly. It will not be loud arrogance. It will be calm certainty. You will speak with clarity. You will move with intention. You will choose relationships with discernment. February 25th marked exposure. This phase marks elevation. The pain you once felt is shrinking into memory, and the strength you gained is expanding into identity. You are not who you were before this happened. You are sharper, wiser, stronger, and soon, very soon, you will see visible evidence that this entire situation was orchestrated to reposition you for something greater than you imagined. The atmosphere around you is no longer heavy. It is charged with movement, charged with clarity, charged with a quiet authority that has settled into your spirit after everything that unfolded on February 25th. What once felt like emotional chaos has now transformed into direction. The exposure did not weaken you. It refined you. Archangel Michael is not standing in battle posture anymore. His sword is no longer lifted in warning. It rests with purpose, signaling that the immediate threat has been aggressed. But do not misunderstand this calm. This is not the end of movement. This is the beginning of advancement. Protection was only the first step. Progress is the next. Something inside you has shifted permanently. You are thinking more strategically. You are speaking less impulsively. You are observing more than reacting. That is growth. When betrayal first surfaces, the natural instinct is emotional reaction. But you did not explode. You did not collapse. You absorbed the lesson and recalibrated. That recalibration is powerful. You may have noticed that your mind feels clearer lately. Decisions that once felt complicated now seem straightforward. Conversations that used to drain you no longer hold power over your emotions. This is what happens when hidden interference is removed. The background noise fades, and you can finally hear divine guidance clearly. But clarity demands action. Archangel Michael can clear the battlefield, but you must choose how you walk across it. Here is something you have been postponing. A bold step, a new direction, a difficult conversation, or perhaps a personal project you kept delaying because you were unsure who truly supported you. Now you know. Now the circle is clear. Now you can move without wondering who is secretly rooting against you. This is your initiation season. The betrayal forced you to confront your own strength. It revealed how resilient you are. It showed you that even when trust is shaken, your foundation remains intact. You are not fragile. You are anchored. And that anchor is becoming visible to others. The one who betrayed you is aware of this shift. They can sense that their influence has dissolved. They may attempt subtle gestures to re-enter your space. A casual message, an indirect compliment, a sudden attempt to reconnect. But your spirit will recognize the difference between sincerity and strategy. You are no longer operating in confusion. And this is where discipline becomes essential. Momentum is building in your favor. Opportunities are quietly aligning. But momentum without focus can scatter. Guard your time. Protect your plans. Not everyone needs access to your next move. Silence is not secrecy. It is strategy. Right now, I want to speak directly to you. If this message reflects your reality, if you have felt this shift after February 25th, do not keep this revelation to yourself. Like this video so this message reaches someone standing on the edge of exposure. Share it with a friend who has been questioning their intuition. Comment what you sensed before the truth came out. Subscribe and stand with this growing community of discernment and protection. When you engage, you are not just interacting with content. You are amplifying a signal that can protect another life. And listen carefully. What is about to unfold next connects directly to your stability. Financially, emotionally, structurally. This is where many people miss their breakthrough because they relax too soon. Stay attentive. There is alignment happening beneath the surface. The removal of hidden opposition has opened a channel. You may begin noticing unexpected ideas related to income, career, or advancement. You may feel inspired to restructure your finances or pursue a path you previously doubted. These impressions are not random. When dissection leaves, flow begins. Energy that was once blocked by subtle sabotage is now circulating freely. But do not rush recklessly. Move with intention. Expansion requires planning. Write your ideas down. Organize your priorities. Invest time where you see long-term growth. Archangel Michael clears threats, but wisdom builds sustainability. You are also becoming more selective with relationships. You are observing who celebrates you without hesitation, who shows up consistently, who respects your boundaries without resistance. Loyalty now matters more than charm. Consistency matters more than excitement. This is maturity forming inside you. Forgive yourself for any moment you ignored your intuition in the past. You trusted because you are genuine. That is not weakness. That is purity of heart. A lesson has been learned. There is no need for self-criticism. Growth has already occurred. February 25th was exposure. This present moment is empowerment. You are no longer carrying the emotional weight of betrayal. You are carrying insight. And insight is far more valuable than temporary comfort. What you gain through this experience cannot be taken from you. The horizon ahead is expanding. You can feel it. a sense that something larger is forming, something stable, something aligned. But it requires courage to step into it fully. Do not retreat into old habits. Do not reopen doors that heaven has already closed. You survived deception. You stood firm during exposure. You chose growth over bitterness. Now prepare yourself, because the next revelation will show you that what seemed like a loss was actually positioning you for a breakthrough that has been waiting for the exact moment you became this strong. What is unfolding now is no longer subtle. You are stepping into visible confirmation. The internal shift that began on February 25th is starting to manifest externally. What was once spiritual is becoming practical. What was once sensed is becoming seen. And this is where many people become uncomfortable, because growth that is visible attracts attention. Archangel Michael is not only guarding your back anymore. He is stabilizing your steps. The sword that exposed betrayal has now marked territory. You are walking into spaces that require confidence, and heaven is ensuring your footing is secure. The ground beneath you is no longer uncertain. You may begin to notice that people are responding to you differently. Some with admiration, some with curiosity, some with subtle discomfort. This reaction is not about ego. It is about energy. When a person becomes spiritually aligned, their presence shifts. You are no longer operating from insecurity. You are moving from clarity. A clarity is noticeable. There is also a test hidden inside this blessing. When exposure happens and momentum follows, there is a temptation to speak too soon, to reveal your entire strategy, to explain your transformation to those who doubted you. Resist that urge. Not every victory requires commentary. Not every breakthrough requires explanation. Silence preserves power. The person who betrayed you may feel the shift most intensely now. They see that you did not collapse. They see that their influence did not derail your progress. In fact, they are beginning to realize that their actions accelerated your separation from limitations. This awareness may cause internal conflict within them, but their realization is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is forward focus. There is an opportunity forming that requires decisive action. It may involve a leadership role, a creative pursuit, or a bold personal boundary that establishes your new standards. This opportunity will feel slightly intimidating because it stretches your identity. You are no longer the person who tolerates half-hearted loyalty. You are the person who values alignment. Archangel Michael's role in this phase is subtle but powerful. He is strengthening your discernment so that you do not repeat old patterns. When new individuals enter your space, you will sense their intentions more clearly. You will not ignore red flags. You will not romanticize potential while dismissing reality. That lesson hath been integrated. There is also restoration happening in areas you thought were permanently damaged. A relationship that was strained because of misinformation may begin healing. A professional opportunity that seemed delayed may reappear with clarity. Exposure does not only remove, it restores. But restoration requires humility. Do not allow pride to block reconciliation where it is genuine. Not every connection was toxic. Some were simply entangled in the confusion created by the betrayer. Discern carefully. Move wisely. Archangel Michael's presence ensures that truth will feel peaceful, not pressured. You are also becoming more comfortable in your own company. This is significant. After betrayal, many people cling to noise to avoid processing pain. But you face it. You reflected. You grew. And now solitude feels empowering rather than lonely. That independence is strength. There is financial alignment approaching as well. A decision you make in the coming days will influence your stability long term. It may involve investing in yourself, shifting careers, or restructuring your priorities. The clarity gained from exposure will help you choose wisely. You are no longer making decisions based on emotional dependency. This is maturity in motion. And here is something important to understand. Not everyone will celebrate your evolution. Some people preferred you when you were uncertain, when you second-guessed yourself, when you sought approval. Your confidence may unsettle those who benefited from your doubt. That is not a reason to shrink. Expansion is uncomfortable for those who refuse to grow. February 25th was a spiritual alarm clock. You woke up. You recognized deception. You accepted the lesson. Now you are moving with purpose. The sword that once pointed at betrayal now symbolizes authority in your life. Authority over your time. Authority over your boundaries. Authority over your future. You are not reacting anymore. You are initiating. This next phase will require courage. A bold yes. A firm no. A decision that draws a permanent line between who you were and who you are becoming. Trust the stability forming within you. Archangel Michael does not guard instability. He fortifies destiny. As you continue forward, something extraordinary will happen. The very area where you experience betrayal will become the area where you demonstrate the greatest wisdom. The wound transforms into mastery. The pain transforms into insight. The confusion transforms into leadership. And soon, you will see undeniable evidence that the exposure was not the climax of your story. It was the ignition of a breakthrough that is about to reveal just how protected and positioned you truly are. There is a sacred stillness settling over your life right now, and it is not emptiness. It is preparation. After exposure comes restructuring. After revelation comes rebuilding. February 25th opened your eyes, but this phase is strengthening your foundation. You are no longer reacting to betrayal. You are reconstructing your future with intention. Archangel Michael is present in a different way now. The sword that once pointed outward has become a symbol of authority placed within your hands. Not literally, but spiritually. You have been entrusted with sharper discernment, with clearer judgment, with stronger boundaries. This is not just protection from harm. This is elevation into responsibility. You may feel a deep internal reset happening. Priorities are shifting. Desires are refining. Things that once seemed urgent now feel unnecessary. Things that once felt distant now feel possible. This recalibration is divine. Exposure often strips away illusion, and once illusion is gone, focus becomes sharper. Look carefully at your environment. You may notice subtle rearrangements, conversations aligning, certain distractions fading. Even your daily routine might begin to adjust naturally. This is alignment unfolding. When hidden opposition is removed, space opens for structure. There is something important you must recognize. The betrayal did not only reveal someone else's character, it revealed your own resilience. You discovered how strong you are under pressure. You discovered that your identity is not dependent on someone else's loyalty. You discovered that even when trust cracks, your core remains steady. The discovery is priceless. Archangel Michael's presence during this time is ensuring that your rebuilding is not rushed. It is tempting to fill empty space quickly, to replace what was lost immediately. But haste can reintroduce instability. Move thoughtfully. Evaluate carefully. Choose quality over quantity in every area of your life. You are also entering a season of deeper spiritual sensitivity. Your intuition will feel sharper than ever. You will sense motives before words are spoken. You will recognize alignment without needing excessive proof. This is not paranoia. This is wisdom matured through experience. The one who betrayed you may now fully understand that access to you is permanently altered. That realization may bring them regret. It may bring them reflection. But their journey is separate from yours. Your focus is not on their reaction. Your focus is on your reconstruction. There is a new connection approaching your life. Not necessarily romantic. It can be professional, spiritual, creative. But this connection will carry integrity. You will feel balance. There will be no hidden tension. No subtle competition. This person will meet you with authenticity because your standards have risen. But here is the key. Recognize it. Sometimes when we experience betrayal, we become overly cautious. We analyze too much. We hesitate even when alignment is clear. Do not allow fear to disguise itself as wisdom. Discernment does not close doors permanently. It simply checks them carefully before entering. There is also financial restructuring occurring beneath the surface. An idea you dismissed before may return with clarity. A path you avoided due to doubt may now feel viable. The removal of hidden sabotage has unlocked mental space. Use that space wisely. Build steadily. Plan long-term. Stability is forming. February 25th was not just about exposure. It was about purification. And purification leads to power. The confusion that once clouded your judgment is gone. The emotional noise that once distracted you has faded. You are thinking from a place of clarity now. If this message confirms what you are experiencing, respond boldly. Type "I walk in divine clarity" in the comments if this resonates deeply within you. Blessing code 8264 is now activated over your season of rebuilding. And as you stand in this clarity, understand something powerful. The light that exposed your betrayal is the same light reaching others through this message. There are souls who are still trapped in uncertainty, questioning their intuition, doubting what they sense. When you engage with this mission, you help extend that light. The Lord declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." This is not distant scripture. It is alive, speaking directly into your situation. You endured confusion. You endured disappointment. But now you are stepping into structured joy, into stable growth, into purposeful alignment. If this word strengthened you, do not hesitate. Release a super thanks as a prophetic seed of agreement. Step into membership and become a pillar in spreading discernment to those still searching for truth. If your spirit is moved, sow through the PayPal link in the description. This is not about donation. It is about participation in a harvest of clarity. When you give, you declare that deception does not win. You declare that light multiplies. And as you sow into this mission, may every seed return to you as stability, protection, and expansion over your household. Move in obedience. Act with boldness. Let your response be immediate. Because what is coming next will reveal how this rebuilt foundation becomes the platform for influence far greater than you anticipated. There is a deeper current moving beneath the surface of your life right now, and it is stronger than anything you have felt before. February 25th was not the climax. It was the catalyst. The exposure of betrayal was the ignition point. But what you are stepping into now is acceleration. You are no longer in recovery. You are in advancement. Archangel Michael's presence in this phase is steady and commanding. The sword that once pointed outward in warning has now become a symbol of territory claimed. The deception that tried to operate around you has lost its influence. The battlefield is no longer active. It has been cleared. And you are standing in the aftermath, not as a victim, but as someone who has gained authority. Notice how your thinking has changed. You are no longer replaying the betrayal in your mind the way you once did. The emotional charge has weakened. What once felt overwhelming now feels instructional. That shift alone is evidence of transformation. Pain has been converted into perception, and perception is power. You are beginning to make decisions faster, not recklessly but confidently. Where you once hesitated, you now evaluate and move. Where you once second-guessed, you now trust your instinct. This is the fruit of exposure. When deception is revealed, intuition strengthens. There is a moment approaching that will publicly or privately validate your growth. It could be a conversation where someone acknowledges your strength. It could be an opportunity that aligns perfectly with your abilities. Or it could be a situation where you respond with calm authority instead of emotional reaction. When that moment arrives, you will realize how far you have come. The person who betrayed you is becoming smaller in your mental landscape. You may still remember what happened, but it no longer controls your emotional state. That is healing. That is maturity. That is spiritual elevation. You are not erasing the lesson. You are simply no longer carrying the weight. Archangel Michael's role now is reinforcement. Reinforcement of boundaries. Reinforcement of wisdom. Reinforcement of discernment. You are not meant to repeat old cycles. You are meant to build on what you have learned. This is why new connections entering your life will feel different. There will be less anxiety, less uncertainty, more clarity. Pay attention to how your body reacts around certain individuals. True alignment feels calm. Manipulation feels tense. You now recognize the difference instantly. That awareness is a gift born from experience. There is also an expansion happening in your professional or creative sphere. An idea you once doubted may begin resurfacing with clarity. A skill you minimized may be recognized by someone influential. What was once hidden in you is preparing to be highlighted. Here is the powerful part. The area where betrayal occurred is the very area where success is forming. If the betrayal was personal, your personal stability will increase. If it was professional, your professional recognition will expand. If it was financial clarity and growth will follow. The enemy targeted the area closest to your potential, but heaven preserved that potential. February 25th marked revelation. This phase marks demonstration. You will demonstrate composure where you once felt chaos. You will demonstrate wisdom where you once felt confusion. You will demonstrate authority where you once felt overlooked. That demonstration will not require loud announcements. It will be visible in your posture, your tone, your decisions. But remember this: do not allow pride to slip in quietly. Growth should humble you, not harden you. The fact that you were protected should make you grateful, not arrogant. Archangel Michael's intervention was not because you are superior. It was because you are assigned. There is purpose attached to your life that required safeguarding. Financially, there may be a significant decision ahead. Something long-term. Something that requires strategic thinking. Do not rush it. The clarity you now possess will guide you if you pause and evaluate carefully. The removal of hidden opposition has created mental space. Use that space wisely. Socially, your circle will continue refining. Some individuals will drift naturally. Others will draw closer with authenticity. Let this happen without resistance. Alignment does not require force. You are also becoming more comfortable with solitude. Not because you distrust everyone, but because you trust yourself. That self-trust is new. It is solid. It is grounding, and it makes you less vulnerable to emotional manipulation. There is confirmation coming, a clear sign that the exposure was necessary. When it arrives, you will not feel anger. You will feel gratitude. Gratitude that what was hidden did not remain hidden. Gratitude that what was deceptive did not stay disguised. Gratitude that protection activated when it did. Stay steady in this season. Do not rush to prove anything to anyone. Your growth will speak. Your stability will speak. Your success will speak. Because what unfolds next will not just reward your patience. It will position you in a place of influence where your wisdom, sharpened through betrayal and guarded by divine protection, becomes the very thing that elevates you beyond what you once imagined possible. You are no longer standing in uncertainty. You are standing in confirmation. Everything that began on February 25th is now converging into visible evidence that you were protected for a reason. The exposure was not random. It was timed. It was precise. And now the results of that precision are beginning to unfold in ways you can no longer ignore. Archangel Michael's presence around you in this phase feels steady, established, almost regal. The sword that once pointed toward the one who betrayed you has now symbolically shifted direction. It points toward your advancement, toward territory you are about to occupy, toward doors that are about to open. This is not just recovery. This is authorization. You may already sense it. Conversations are shifting in tone. People are responding to you with a new level of respect. Opportunities that once seemed distant are now within reach. There is movement in areas that felt stagnant for months. That stagnation was not failure. It was interference. And once interference was removed, motion resumed. Here is what makes this moment powerful. You did not allow bitterness to define you. You did not allow betrayal to turn you cynical. You processed it. You learned from it. You grew through it. That growth is now attracting alignment. There is a decision approaching that will require boldness. It may involve stepping into a leadership role, committing to a new professional path, or fully embracing a personal transformation you have been slowly preparing for. This decision will not feel forced. It will feel like a quiet knowing, a sense that this is the moment to move. Archangel Michael does not clear a path for you to stand still. He clears it for you to walk with authority. Financially, this season carries weight. There may be an offer presented to you that improves your stability. There may be an idea that, if executed with discipline, changes your long-term trajectory. But wisdom is essential here. Innovation requires structure. Study detailed. Ask questions. Move deliberately. Do not confuse speed with success. True advancement is strategic. Emotionally, you are stronger than you were before February 25th. If a similar betrayal attempt surfaced today, you would recognize it instantly. You would not over-explain yourself. You would not beg for clarity. You would calmly detach. That confidence is transformation in action. You are also noticing a shift in how others treat you. Some who once underestimated you are adjusting their tone. Some who doubted your discernment are now observing your composure. You do not need to remind anyone of what happened. Your stability speaks for you. Pause here for a moment. If this journey reflects your reality, engage with it intentionally. Like this video so others navigating hidden betrayal can find clarity. Share it with someone questioning their intuition. Comment the lesson you gained from this exposure. Subscribe and become part of this growing circle of spiritual awareness and strength. When you interact, you amplify a message that could shield someone else from unseen harm. And trust this, What unfolds next will make you grateful you remained attentive. There is also reconciliation happening within you. You are forgiving yourself for moments of hesitation, forgiving yourself for ignoring subtle red flags, forgiving yourself for trusting deeply. That internal forgiveness is crucial. Without it, you would carry unnecessary guilt. With it, you walk lighter. The one who betrayed you may still observe from a distance. They may see your progress and realize that their attempt to destabilize you failed. But their realization is no longer relevant to your direction. You are not fueled by proving them wrong. You are fueled by alignment. February 25th was exposure. This present phase is acceleration. You will soon receive confirmation that everything unfolded in divine timing. A message, an offer, an acknowledgement, a breakthrough that connects directly to the area that once felt threatened. The same place where insecurity tried to enter will now become the place of visible strength. Stay grounded as this happens. Gratitude protects growth. Humility sustains elevation. Remember who you were before the exposure and who you became after it. That contrast will keep you balanced. Archangel Michael's protection over your life was never about drama. It was about destiny. There is purpose attached to your path that required interference to be removed. Now that it has been removed, nothing stands between you and forward movement except your willingness to step fully into it. Do not shrink when opportunity calls. Do not second-guess when clarity is present. Do not reopen doors that heaven deliberately closed. Because what is about to unfold will not just validate your discernment. It will demonstrate that the betrayal you feared would break you was actually the force that positioned you for a level of stability, authority, and expansion that you could not have reached any other way. There is a threshold in front of you now. Not dramatic on the outside, but spiritually significant. Everything that has unfolded since February 25th has been leading to this internal crossing. You are no longer processing betrayal. You are no longer rebuilding from exposure. You are stepping into ownership. Ownership of your voice. Ownership of your standards. Ownership of your future. Archangel Michael's presence at this stage feels less like intervention and more like endorsement. The battle has already been addressed. The dissection has already been revealed. The interference has already been removed. What remains now is your response to the open path in front of you. And here is the truth. The open path can feel intimidating. When you were navigating confusion, there was a strange comfort in analyzing what went wrong. There was familiarity in replaying conversations, in examining motives, in trying to understand the betrayal. But now that clarity has come, there is no distraction left. The only direction available is forward. That requires courage. You may feel moments of hesitation, not because you doubt yourself, but because stepping fully into your next chapter means releasing the final emotional attachment to the old one. Even if the old chapter included pain, it was familiar. Growth demands unfamiliar territory. Archangel Michael's role here is subtle but powerful. He is strengthening your resolve. When uncertainty whispers, you will feel an inner firmness rise up. When fear attempts to delay you, there will be a quiet confidence reminding you that you have already survived worse. There is something approaching that will require you to speak clearly. Perhaps a boundary that must be stated. Perhaps an opportunity that requires you to present yourself boldly. Perhaps a moment where silence would once have been easier, but now clarity is necessary. Do not retreat. Your voice carries authority now because it has been tested. Tested by disappointment. Tested by exposure. Tested by emotional pressure. And instead of collapsing, it matured. The person who betrayed you no longer has emotional access to you. That door is closed, not with hostility, but with understanding. You see clearly now, and once sight is restored, you cannot pretend blindness. There is also a strengthening in your spiritual awareness. You are noticing patterns faster. You are recognizing sincerity without needing excessive proof. You are identifying misalignment without feeling guilty for stepping back. This is wisdom in motion. Financially and professionally, you are entering a decisive period. The choice made in the coming days or weeks will influence your long-term stability. It may not appear monumental at first glance, but it carries weight. Trust the discernment sharpened through experience. You are no longer making choices from emotional need. You are making them from clarity. You are also becoming more protective of your peace. Not defensive, but intentional. You understand that peace is not accidental. It is cultivated. It requires boundaries. It requires selectivity. It requires the courage to say no when something feels misaligned. This is not isolation. This is refinement. February 25th with the awakening. Everything since has been preparation. What you are stepping into now is manifestation of maturity. You will handle situations differently than you would have months ago. You will respond with steadiness instead of urgency. You will move with intention instead of impulse. And others will notice. There may be someone observing you quietly who sees your growth and respects it deeply. Someone who values integrity and recognizes it in you. This connection, whether personal or professional, will feel grounded. There will be no hidden tension, no subtle competition, just mutual respect. But you must be ready to receive it. Sometimes after betrayal, we unconsciously brace ourselves for disappointment. We expect hidden motives. We anticipate letdowns. But that expectation can block genuine alignment. Archangel Michael did not clear deception from your life so you could live in permanent suspicion. He cleared it so you could build in peace. There is also internal confirmation rising within you. A sense that you are exactly where you need to be, even if the full picture is not visible yet. That sense is not arrogance. It is alignment. You survived exposure. You endure reflection. You embraced growth. Now you are stepping into authority. The next development will not be loud or chaotic. It will be steady and undeniable. A sign that your evolution is complete enough to carry greater responsibility. Stand tall in this moment. Speak clearly. Choose wisely. Because what is about to unfold will not simply reward your resilience. It will position you in a place where the very lesson of betrayal becomes the foundation of your leadership, your stability, and your influence moving forward. This is the moment everything locks into place. What began on February 25th as a warning has now become a witness. A witness to your growth. A witness to your resilience. A witness to the fact that what was meant to destabilize you actually positioned you. Archangel Michael did not point his sword at the person who betrayed you for drama. He did it for destiny. This sword was never just about exposure. It was about separation. Separation from hidden sabotage. Separation from delayed progress. Separation from relationships that could not sustain your next level. And now you stand on the other side of it. Look at yourself honestly. You are not the same person who first sensed something was wrong. Back then, there was confusion. There was hesitation. There was internal conflict. And now there is clarity. There is steadiness. There is authority in your posture. The identity of the betrayer was revealed, but something even greater was revealed too. Your strength. You discovered that you can survive disappointment without losing your softness, You can establish boundaries without losing your compassion. You can walk away without carrying bitterness. That balance is maturity. Archangel Michael's assignment in your life during this season was protection, yes, but it was also activation. You were activated into discernment, activated into leadership, activated into a new standard for who gets access to you. And here is the final revelation. The betrayal was a doorway, not a setback, not a curse. A doorway. It forced you to tighten your circle. It forced you to evaluate your environment. It forced you to stop underestimating your intuition. If that exposure had not happened, you might have carried hidden opposition into a season that requires complete alignment. But heaven intervened. Now you are entering a stretch of stability. Decisions will feel clearer. Opportunities will align with less resistance. Connections will carry peace instead of pressure. The chaos that once surrounded you has dissolved. You are not moving in fear anymore. You are moving in awareness. There will still be challenges in life. Growth never eliminates responsibility. But you will not be blindsided the same way again. Your discernment is sharper. Your confidence is stronger. Your boundaries are firmer. And the one who betrayed you, they no longer hold emotional power over you. The sword that once pointed at them has completed its assignment. Exposure has already done its work. You do not need revenge. You do not need explanation. You have clarity. February 25th marked the warning. Today marks the victory. Stand in that victory. Speak from that clarity. Build from that wisdom. If this message has walked you through your own journey of exposure and elevation, seal it with faith. Type "I step into divine authority" in the comments if this confirms your season. Blessing code 9901 is now released over your life. And as this chapter closes, understand something sacred. The same light that exposed betrayal in your life is reaching thousands who are still in confusion. When you choose to support this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls who need protection before damage happens. The Lord declares, "I will make you a light in dark places, and through you many will find their way." That is not ancient text alone. It is a living invitation. When you act, you become part of that promise. If this word strengthened you, release a super thanks as a prophetic act of agreement. Step into membership and stand as a guardian of truth in this community. If your spirit is led, sow through the PayPal link in the description. This is seed into revelation, seed into protection, seed into alignment. As you give, may doors open before you. May hidden opposition dissolve around you. May your household experience multiplied peace and provision. Act now. Seal this moment with obedience. Your warning turned into wisdom. Your exposure turned into elevation. And your story is only beginning.